Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication.
Hello and welcome to Mercy TV Live. You know, we just want to get cannabis out there for everyone to use. That's what's important.
Well,
Everyone.
Like to hear that.
You don't have to smoke it. The people in the hospital, you need to talk to your doctors about using cannabis oils or tinctures or edibles here.
It's actually really nice. I recently read a study that in some of the legal states, edible use is doubled. First years it was about 14%, and edibles, topicals, and everything like that's jumped up to about 24% usage. So.
Weren't you telling me about some other studies too, Willie?
Yeah, definitely.
This is Willie from
Willie T.
From Newport, right?
Yep, Willie T from Newport, a Perfect Peace Smoke Shop. That's me. Been a long time cannabis advocate. It's nice to meet all you guys. It's nice to be here.
Hey, and John, are you watching on the YouTube or what it was?
John. John. John Prince. John Prince. He was on. He got to be on. We talked to him on the radio here last Wednesday.
Okay.
He talked for a good while. Gave us a lot of good information.
Coming up in August.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I don't know if he's going to make the show. He said he's going to try to hit us in between. Then, yeah, he was. I know he said he was going to be here, but he said maybe on the 29th he'd be leaving, and I think our 30th is the show that he could have been on. But if you're out there, you wanna give us a call, you can call us here at 503-588-6444. That's Mercy TV. Talk to any one of us. Talk to John. I met a nice lady. Her name is Priya. She's from India. She's the very first cannabis advocate, self-proclaimed cannabis advocate in India. Hopefully she'll be calling us sometime.
Nice.
Well, she should go to our website, mercycenters.org,
I already sent her that.
and go to our website on India and join the 24 other people who have contacted us from India.
Really, from India?
And we formed our own email list for those folks. So
awesome.
Please
That's
help
what
and
it's
join
all
out
about.
there. Well, you know, and this is why Mercy Center and our TV show has been going and trying to get it out there and keep it going, keep people, you know, we want the conversation, but it starts at home. It starts with your kids. We want everybody, your neighbors.
Yeah.
You the know, doctor.
Uh,
We got to keep your doctor. You have to tell your doctor, because if you know cannabis is doing you well, you want your doctor to know that cannabis is doing. This is what it's doing for you. Yes, Pete.
So the beginning of the OMA program that helped the patients out, they had a list and other conditions that you use cannabis for. And at one time, we were going to have easy other issues added to the program so the card members could get the privilege of using
Well, we've
cannabis.
tried. We've tried over the years to have these conditions added. We've had a couple added. You know, we've done well. There's a lot in the battle. The main thing is this. You have to talk to your doctors.
Yeah.
You know, it's important to talk to your doctors. A lot of people, you know, say, well, I can't talk to my doctor. He don't want to hear it. But, you know, this is what I know. You can talk to your doctors. They might not want to hear it, but they will listen to you.
Definitely. The conversation has already started. I think that's the single most attribute to legalization is it's opened up the conversation. You know, it's now we're taking it from the stereotype and moving it into the mainstream, and more people are starting to discover it for themselves, their family members, and it's the perfect time to actually start those conversations. I mean, the grandma,
not so fearful.
Yeah, the grandma that you were always afraid to talk to, this might be the time to talk to her about it, and
Well, and we
might be
want
the time
to
to
know that
It's
the
a beautiful
plant,
plant.
Yes.
plant that you're growing in your yard, that you don't have to worry about. can take that plant and you can make some oil, and you can rub that oil on your body, and you can make things, and you can eat things.
Yes.
And all of these things do good because the terpenes and all of these things that nobody talks about, the CBDs were one of the
You
things.
can use the whole plant.
Yes,
From the root
nobody
to
talks
the
about.
stems to the flower.
Well,
and the
because-
leaves.
There's so many studies going on right now about terpene use, and there's actually a lot of people coming out with the terpene profiles because for so long everybody's been going sativa or indica, but sativa indica describes more about the location where a seed, a genome grew up.
Well,
you
and
know?
the person, it's, you know what does for the person?
Exactly.
Because the person has something going on with their body, and it goes directly to the body because the body knows what to do with that particular cannabis. And you know, there are so many things that CBD is the only thing that we are hearing about as the general public.
Right,
But
only one
you
of
know, the
many.
last
Yeah.
testing and stuff we had done, CBD, CBN, THC, THCV, CBDG, CBGC, CHCBA, and you know, when the guy got done, he said, and there was like 15 or 20 more that we couldn't identify in yours. And he goes, so I'm telling you, you got some really good oil. And these are the things that we got going on, and we can know that when we eat it, our body does what it needs to do with it. And these are the good things that nobody talks about,
Nobody
that
knows.
we need to tell everybody and keep that conversation going. And these are the important things that nobody's talking about, that we need to keep going and that we want to keep going because that plant, that little old plant that's growing in the backyard, that we
Yeah.
can cook with, that we can eat, that we can do all of these things, it's really important.
It is.
So remember, folks, when it's getting to election time, vote. Be a registered voter. Now when you get your new driver's license, you get to be a registered voter. You don't have to go through the bullshit of going to the different offices. But the Cannabis Connection, we got an old one here. New ones are coming out in 2 weeks, and they're going to be here early because Pioneer Pete is on the delivery staff.
Well, and they're
There
a
you
good
go.
magazine, and they always have a lot of good information in them. And you know, these are the things that we're trying to get out so that everyone has good information, because we want everyone to have good information so that when you read something, you're getting some good information. We know that everybody don't get a good chance to get some good information. So like the show, we want everyone to get a chance to get some good information.
Yeah.
And so like when you guys come on the show, get a chance to get some good information.
Get some
and
information.
share some information, you know, because that's what it's about. You know, CCTV has always let people come down, and they're really good. So if you want to come down on Friday nights, please come down, you guys.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it's
Yeah, I could
really
be in our
good.
studio audience here and point out facts like health professionals are enabled to help patients medicate. So it's something important that we found out, that nurses, healthcare providers, healthcare givers, facility care workers are all enabled to pick up the medicine and take it to the patient. And even under certain circumstances, help them to medicate, to fill their pipe, to hand it to them, you know,
Or rub
so
it
forth.
on the healing
And
oil.
these are all
Keep
true
it, keep
facts.
it in the fridge, bring
Recently,
it out, hand it to them.
These are
you know,
true facts.
So forth, so.
These are true facts. We were at the meeting with all of them, and that was with them and the state professionals when they had the meeting over here in Salem. Perry and I were at that meeting, and they were saying these things.
Yeah.
So this is true information, and we're giving it.
And
know.
And
Barbara
it's a-
Bush said the same, didn't she?
Oh yeah, well they've got nurses classes, cannabis nurse classes.
Well, and they're teaching this.
teaching it.
They're teaching it, and this is a long, drawn-out thing they're doing. But this has been done a while back, and they've
Yeah,
known
when we
it.
had that conversation, unfortunately, it had to get past the Oregon Nurses Association, which was not friendly to us, and in fact gave Nurse Ed of activist fame, folks out there may recall Nurse Ed, and his struggles with the Oregon Nurses Association, not just about the application of cannabis, but in pain management for their patients, and humane and palliative medical care for people, particularly the most vulnerable, folks that were in mental institutions, disabled, and instead of just
Back to
doping
keeping
them up with stuff,
and back to
allow
keeping
them
it out,
cannabis, to have
keeping
a
the
life.
information out.
Yeah, and recently over in New Jersey, there was a man who actually was awarded through court the approval to get his medicine, his cannabis medicine, paid for by his insurance. So
Wow.
that was a
Yeah.
first in the country, and we should start seeing more of that.
Lads,
So-
do you hear that?
Yeah. So hopefully we can start seeing that.
Right,
in illegal
agent420.biz
states
for more information on cannabis insurance. Yeah, they're
Yes.
insuring people. Used to be if somebody broke in and ripped off your stuff, you couldn't get insurance, and for God's sakes, you couldn't call the police. And
Nope.
so that's
A
changing
lot
now.
of time that was the police that were.
Yes, and half the
That's
time.
true.
Don't get Willie started on the police now.
We'll leave that
But the
one
times
alone.
are changing, and we can push this thing over if we all register,
Yeah.
vote,
Yes.
and get everybody we know to do so also.
And it's about your First Amendment right, too. A lot of people tend to forget that. That's one thing I always would tell people, because I would always hear people say to me, they'll do it one day, and my response to that is they are us, and one day is today.
Yeah.
You can use your First Amendment right to petition your government to redress grievances. That's how we legalized in Washington. That's how we legalized in Oregon. That's how we legalized in Colorado.
Right.
And, right now we have so many states in the union. We're at 30 states now with some sort of legalization on their books, and we're slowly winning this, but we still have a long ways to go.
Yep.
Well,
so you guys got to share it
And
across
we
the state
want,
line, share
we
the
want
information
people
across the state
to
line too.
have the information so they're not scared.
Yeah.
And so,
Quality life.
people with children, people with children want to be able to tell their children and be able to do these things and not have fear.
And in 2017, just to add to that, 2017, the Drug Policy Alliance put out a report that shows in Colorado and Washington State that teenage drug use has not gone up or gone down.
It's
been
went
the
the
same.
other way.
And
Well,
that's
it
been
went
across
the other
board in all the
way.
states
Yeah.
with it,
See,
too.
the
Suicide rates
18
down,
Yes.
alcohol related incidents, drunk driving, domestic abuse, all down.
You
And
can
they found
use-
that 20 years ago in Australia.
Yeah.
They
And we've
can use
reported it, you know?
cannabis to get off of other hard drugs.
Well, how many?
To be.
And these are things they
and
know,
he's- and
but
he's
they
an
don't want to
advocate for
publish it. They don't want to publish
No.
it because they already know it.
They already know it.
See, these are things they already know, but these are things that we, as a Mercy Center group, and you guys, we're trying to keep us as the general public.
Well, just
you
think now
guys,
we
the
can all-
conversation.
We can at least have 4 plants.
Yes. And I was at the Oregon Cannabis Commission this last Monday. Anthony Taylor, which is on the commission, is doing a heck of a job. You'll see the program later on this station. Hey, but we, the people, have to wake up and tell our legislators what to do is
Well,
right.
we got to get those prohibitionists out of there.
Oh,
Man,
and
that's
this-
why that's why the medical marijuana program here in Oregon has been taking a beating for the past, I don't know how many years.
We're
they've
the
been-
highest state in paying
Right, they're
fees.
jacking up the fees. We're the most expensive, the fewest plants. There, it's a cat fight every time you try to get a condition added. It's ridiculous. They've never been met a group more antagonistic towards medical cannabis other than the freaking cops, and the prohibitionists who, especially the national ones, who roll into town every now and then with the reefer madness scare, boogaboo.
And it's still the stereotyping that gets
Exactly.
associated. A
Right.
lot of the people who are anti-cannabis tend to associate us with degenerates and all that
Well,
stuff.
they keep playing-
And we just need to start expressing ourselves more, that we are cannabis users, that we have benefited from our lives with cannabis use.
Right.
And the
And
more
still
people
do.
that people see, they'll realize, well, I've known Joe for 100 years,
Right.
and he's a great guy. And through that knowledge, I think we'll slowly start to break those barriers down.
Well,
Very slowly.
I like your sentiment of a lot of folks saying, hey, they will take care of it eventually. Well, don't wait for it eventually,
Yeah.
then later.
Don't
You
wait.
do it now.
I don't know which camera it is, but don't wait. Go do it. You can do it. You are they.
What was the website for the kids, for the parents?
Parents and pot.
Parents for Pot. Parents, number 4, pot.org.
Well, because there's such a good group, and these are the groups that if you're looking for somebody, we have available on the Mercy Center website. You can go to.
I'll link to them, and they're a
that.
great network. They do a lot of great programs. They're one for going to get education, to get information to educate your kids, your family members.
No, they feed families too
Right, and-
during
yes.
the time.
You know, these are
it's-
the things that we're trying to keep people in touch with, because a lot of times people don't know where to go, and they
Well,
don't
a lot
know.
of resources are still needed because the prohibition's still going on, as evidenced by
Yeah.
nonsensical laws based on discrimination, like the daycare workers can't be medical cannabis patients.
Yeah.
We're hearing
You
about
can't have
it.
a hemp field
We're
near
hearing
schools.
about it.
And the worst of all,
Yeah.
of all the
What's up with
people to
that?
deny guns to, medical
Yeah.
cannabis patients.
Oh, you can't have your car.
You know?
You can't have a concealed
And
weapons permit.
that's ridiculous, you
It
know?
is.
And that's all because of prohibition, and all the more reason we need to get rid of it. And how
Exactly.
do we get rid of it, folks?
Voting.
Register.
You gotta
Vote.
register.
Education.
And these are the things why we want to make sure not only you, but your family, your
Right.
neighbors, and these are the things you got to talk about.
Yep.
And you got to keep
Get out there and do it.
everybody. And this is a daily thing.
Yep.
And see, the cannabis is good for our bodies, and it starts with us and the plant and growing it, and even if you don't want to, you don't have to, but don't get on the people that that are,
And are benefiting from the use of it.
Yeah.
because these are the things that we know that are going on with people that are making money on it.
Right.
They've came on, since they've started when we started the program, they made all this monies on the program, and it lost all the patients their way to get their medicine.
Well,
And-
it's incredible how they managed to jack up the fees when the program's brought in millions and millions of dollars, far more than it has been a cost.
They milk
Oh,
the
yeah.
cow pretty hard.
And now
the
that well
patients
dried up,
still
and they
go.
turned on the patients as a result.
and patients need their medicine, and this is what we know.
And they need healthy
And
alternatives.
patients that need medicine is important to the Mercy Center, and that's one thing that we've always tried to keep going. And these are things that we try to keep people going.
So if you're a grower or a patient, contact us at Mercy. Visit mercycenters.org. We're still trying to network and do patient-grower matchups and so forth, as hard as it is.
Lovely. It's all about networking together, getting with other people who are like-minded and sharing the information with more people so they can learn every day.
Get in touch with Anthony Taylor, Pioneer Pete. These are people that are in the legislation, and they're on our side, buddies. They're fighting for the patient's rights.
Remember, you can call in too, 503-588-6444. Come
Well,
on, give us a holler.
It's important,
Here, John.
keeping the information alive. The information for everyone, and knowing that this is good because the cannabis, all of it is good for us.
Yeah.
You know,
Here, here.
not just the CBD. You know,
The
everybody's
whole everything.
Oh, wow.
everybody's hearing about it, and they're thinking, well, I can only use CBD. I got to go through some test. I got to do this. I got to do that. So they're in fear that this is what I got to do, so they don't even want to get involved.
I think the thing about CBD that's really taken over with CBD is just the fact that CBD, up until recently, was 50 state legal. And so CBD kind of became the Trojan horse of cannabis for states that could not have cannabis, like Texas, for instance. And then the last few weeks, Texas shops have been getting raided over CBD products.
Yeah, the DEA came in and illegalized it.
And the
Made it
reality is the full spectrum CBD is what's going to help more people. And I think as we fight more for legalization and we slowly become legalized, we'll actually be able to get the CBD not in just to the, you know, the seller's market for every shop to sell, but to get it over into the, you know, medical market and get it to the patients. And this is coming from a shop owner, someone who I'm the worst guy because I feel bad because I turn away almost every single CBD patient that comes in asking for my shop. I'm like, I could sell you a CBD product that's not really going to help you all day long, but really, because you really want to go get with a quality medical producer, one that you can find through mercycenters.org. You know, you want to get with somebody who's creating that full spectrum CBD because that's what you need to help yourself. And it's all just about, you know, constantly sharing that information. I'd like to add one little thing too. We were talking earlier about you know, the small things you can do. There was a couple years ago, Florida was pushing for legalization, and I was stuck. I couldn't really go and help. So I won't say the name of the company, but a very large, you know, grocery store, which has a very large pharmaceutical base, decided to donate almost $1 million to fight against cannabis. So I took it upon myself for almost a year to post one video on their page every single day. It was a kid, he was having a seizure, and the mom puts a rub on his foot and stops the seizure within minutes. And I would put that on that page every day. I would get 300 or 400 likes before they would, you know, eventually find it and turn it off. They tried to kick me off on the page, and of course we just started another account and continued to do it.
Right on.
It was my little form of small legalization trolling. That's what.
Very nice.
Important tidbit, you know. Letters to the editor,
Yeah,
phoning
get
in
gorilla
on
with it, right?
radio shows, on podcasts, commenting on bulletin boards, on posted media, demonstrating, every opportunity to stand on the street corners. This is a good time to talk about J Day, which happens the first Saturday in May, where hundreds of cities around the world do just that. Some will stand on the corner, some will get a march going, some get rallies of thousands of people. Paris, Berlin, London, New York, Los Angeles, all these places, and more. You know, like I said, hundreds of cities around the world.
Like, wasn't last year across the Burnside Bridge?
Yeah.
No, I don't think we marched.
No, we didn't, but they did do it.
Yeah,
they did do it.
Right, yes.
They did.
Portland, they did one across the bridge.
Wow.
I was, that was a
I'm
good
glad to go
time.
see
I was
that.
with the first march, or one of the first major ones, where we had literally had 1,000 people in the streets, and we got the motorcycle escort of the Portland police for like $75 for the day. It was a beautiful thing. They walked off the streets. We marched. We ended up in Pioneer Square, and it was a beautiful thing. And now they're doing it every year. Been now 10 years, I guess.
So May Day, May 1st?
Yeah.
First Saturday in May.
Saturday in May.
J Day.
J-Day.
So
First Saturday in May.
And we're on the north end of the Capitol Mall. We're Center and Summer Street.
But don't wait. You know, like I said, also court support. You know, if you stay in that network, somebody gets busted, every court appearance, you fill that courtroom. You
Yes,
know?
help them.
And share your stories.
And help them.
Share your
If
stories.
that's how you get
In
some
media
help.
and other ways,
You
yeah.
talk with people. Talk with people you know, and get them to talk with people, because, you know, that's how we did it.
Do that rally in a manner that's going to draw the reporter there and get the people there to make the statement and make the points. Yeah.
Or at
I
leave a note on the website for Perry
Sure.
to get it out there, because that's what we want to do. We want to get information out for others.
And register voters at these things.
Man,
Always.
because that's when they were doing some of those things in Portland last week, that's what we were talking about. Instead of causing all that bad crap, they should have had some voter stuff out there.
Saying, hey, you
trying
don't
to
like what they're
register
doing.
some
Here,
voters.
register, vote.
That
Here's a
just
bunch.
yell
Who
at
do you
one
know?
another.
Who do you don't
Yeah.
know yet? Here, boom. Take some more. Yeah.
Something I learned in the military, they told us in the PLDC, Primary Leadership Development course, was you get the government you deserve.
Yeah.
Whether you vote or not, or whether I'm going to vote and then you don't, or whatever, how you vote, we got the government we deserve.
Rights are like
it's the
muscles.
work
Exercise. Use them or lose them, baby.
It's the work we put into it that we're going to get back.
I think one of my favorite things about what I've discovered since legalization is the conversation with people who you wouldn't think would consume.
Exactly,
the
yeah.
people who it's affected, the cancer patients who have moved from a state into the state
Or
and
somebody
it's
that knows
changed
somebody
their
that's been
lives.
through that, yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is too, asking people that, like, how has cannabis helped you? And that starts the conversation that just continues the
Absolutely.
conversation on.
It's like petition gathering. So go out there and take a petition gathering.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to get at least one registered voter today, man.
Yeah.
Go buy a cannabis suit like this and
Right
put
on.
it on and walk around
Get
with
their
it.
attention. There you go.
Definitely.
Well, and these are
When
the
they
things
make it hemp.
that why we want
hemp
to keep
is one of
the
my
show
favorite
going
subjects. We'll have to
and
come
keep
back
the
on one day and talk about
conversation
that.
going. You guys, those are the reasons why Mercy TV Live is happening, and why we want to keep the show going, and why CCTV is so good.
Thank you, CCTV.
Very
Yeah.
much,
Love
and
you.
all the people in the booth, and please, anybody, if you have anything you want to come on down on Friday nights, come on down, because they're really good about helping us. And Friday night,
To be in that studio audience, casting them comments from the peanut gallery.
it is.
Love the peanut gallery.
Get in touch with
Parents were-
them.
You guys,
Yeah,
it is.
parents were fine,
Throw a
definitely.
peanut in there
Parents
laughing.
were fine.
Well, and please, these are the things that Mercy Center wants to do, because that's what we're doing. Please,
Cannabis
you guys,
Connection.
thank you. This is why we started it, why we want to do it, and we thank you for coming and being a part, because that's what we want to do.
And thank you for watching this program.
So
Thank you for Janet. Thank you for Mike.
And
Thank
Shauna,
Shauna.
all the people, we've had so many people
Quebec.
come and go and pass, but we do it because the conversation needs to keep going. That's what we want.
And you can find this online as well to get background information and recipes.
And we'll be here next week. And please come on down. Thank you.
next time on Mercy TV.
You want to say anything before I turn it off, Glenn?
Yes, good night.
Good night. God bless you all, every single one of you.